Hey there, Lisa here. Welcome to my channel. I hope you'll join me in my love of crafting and DIYs and hit that subscribe button. Today I have for you some nautical dinosaur decorations. This is part of the Room by Room collaboration, and I'll tell you all about that here in a little bit. For now, let's jump into creating. This project is a Dino pirate sailboat. I used one of the Dollar Tree Sailboat decor pieces that you can get, a Dollar Tree placemat. You could use material or anything though. Spray adhesive, Dino pirate flag design that I made on my new Cricut. I'm so excited. It's the first thing. Paintbrush, scissors, painter's tape, and then a razor knife. So the first thing I did, it started peeling and I had an edge that was missing a chunk. So got my coffee there. So I actually peeled the paper off the two sides that I was going to work on. And I put a coat of Mod Podge over the side that I was going to paint. I just thought maybe it would stick better and give it a smoother surface. And once the Mod Podge had dried, I did take some painter's tape to cover up this blue corrugated cardboard because I wanted to keep it. And then I took these two colors and mixed them because I wanted a really light gray. I was initially going to do white, but it's going to be hanging on a white wall. So I decided to go with a light gray. So I just mixed it until I got the color that I liked. And I did mix just a little bit extra because I have a project that I didn't get to for this video that I want this same color to be part of. And then I gave it a good coat. I did do the sides as well as the front really well. And then once the original coat had dried, I did do a second good coat. For the bottom part of the boat, I wanted something else. I just kind of was liking all the different textures. And I found this placemat at the Dollar Tree. It's like a plastic rubber of some sort. And so I cut a piece of it that would fit along the bottom, made sure that I had enough that it was going to fit over the edge, and then I took and with spray adhesive I sprayed the bottom of the boat, and then you put the adhesive on the back side of the placemat as well, and then I attached them, and then I did let them dry for about 24 hours. And then once it had dried, I took it and flipped it over and removed the excess with the razor blade. And then I treated myself to a maker. I've been saving money for it. And so this is my first vinyl cut. Well, that's actually a lie because it took me several cuts to get it the right size and all of it on the same mat. Definitely some trial and error with this thing. But I did put this little design together and cut it out in some blue Dollar Tree vinyl. And then I applied it to some transfer tape, and then I applied it to the portion of the sailboat that I had painted gray. And here is how the decal turned out, and here is how the whole boat turned out. What do you guys think? You guys got to let me know in the comments. The color scheme in this will match a couple things that I have planned for his other wall. So I'm excited to see what it looks like when it gets all pulled together. You will be able to see this with the other items in this video, though, if you stick around until the end. This video is part of the Room by Room collaboration, and this month's theme is nautical. It is hosted every month by Devin at Freckled Mom DIY, and this month's co-host is C at CJ DIY. I will link both of their channels as well as the playlist in my description box. Be sure to head over and check out these two ladies. They have some incredible DIYs, and I'm confident the rest of the playlist will be pretty awesome too. For this project, we're going to make a little stick sailboat. You will need 2 sticks, one larger, one smaller, material of your choice, a sail template. I just drew one out and I'll show you what I did there. I will link it if you would like it. Baker's twine, 2 small nails, a hot glue gun, knife, hammer, scissors, and then a pencil and paper. The first thing I did was draw out a sail shape on some paper, and then I cut out 2 of them. One of them we are going to leave at this size, And then I took the other one and cut it down smaller so that I had a larger sail and then a smaller sail. And so then they would be a mirror image of one another. And then I made sure that they were going to fit with the sticks that I had chose. And then I took and traced them onto the material using a marker. And I did the large one backwards here. I had just cut them out and I still did them backwards. So, but it doesn't matter. They're just the sails will be on opposite sides than I had planned. And then I also traced around the small one. And then I took and cut both of the larger and smaller sails. Next, I laid them out so that I could mark where the middle stick would go, as well as the tie downs on the sides. And for the tie downs on the sides, I just use those teeny tiny little frame nails, like for picture frames, and I did hammer them in. This one gave me a lot of trouble, mostly because that other stick sticks out there, but I did finally get it in there, pounded down in there. And so I pounded one on each side. And these sticks, this is for my son's bedroom, and these sticks were actually gathered on a little hike him and I took a week or so ago when we actually had a nice day. And then once I had my nails hammered in each side, I took the middle where I wanted to put the stick, and with a knife, I just carved out a hole large enough that it would set down inside so that I could glue it. And once I got the hole to the size that I wanted, I laid it out and made sure that it was, the way that I wanted it. And then I took my hot glue gun and I filled the hole with glue and then put my stick in there. And amazingly enough, it still stands up. Next, I took some baker's twine and, leaving just a little bit down on the bottom of the sail and quite a bit on the top, I went along the backside inner edge of the sail with the baker's twine and just hot glued it on. And then I did the same thing with the small sail. And then on the other side, I just took a small piece and I didn't go all the way up the side, just along that bottom edge, just so that I had enough to tie down in the middle. And then I took that side and I actually glued it right to the stick. On some of them, I used the cord to do the tying. Others, I used a dab of hot glue. And so I glued it down to the bottom of the stick, and then I took my side piece that I had added, and I am going to tie it around the little nail there. And it did take some trial and error. I found that if I put the scissors on it to weigh it down, it was a little bit easier. It kept wanting to shift. Next, I am going to repeat the process with the other sail on the other side. So I got it kind of where I wanted, down there in the middle, and just used just a dab of hot glue. And then I will tie it around the nail on the side. And then finally, I take the strings on top and wrap them around and then tie them together so that the tops of the sails are also tied. And that one side was driving me crazy. It wasn't over far enough, and so I took the piece of string and hot glued it down so it actually goes past the nail, but that's okay. And it still stands. Finally, I cut off strings, so I went around. I left a little bit hanging just for decorative reasons, but I went around and tied anything that wasn't tied, like the bottom, middle, and then just cut the strings off so that they weren't super long hanging out there. And that is it. And here it is. What do you guys think? It really is so simple, but I just really like the way that it turned out. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. Some little pirate dinosaur hats is what we're making. You will need material or felt, a needle and thread, a hat template. I just drew one out. I will link it in the description box if you are interested. Hot glue gun, scissors, and then a pencil and paper. What seemed like such a simple project turned into lots of trial and error, and I will explain all of that. I just want to let you know that you may see me using a little bit different hat or a little bit different material throughout the tutorial. The reason being is that I had so much video on this and I wanted to show you what I thought was the easiest to follow. The first step, though, was cutting the hat out of the material. So I went ahead and folded this. I knew I was going to do 2 hats, so by 4s, and then just cut it all out at one time. So that is what you see me doing here, is just cutting my hat shapes out of my material. Next, I took some white thread and a needle and doubled it and threaded my needle. And what we're going to do here is sew on some very abstract bones for the front of the hat. So I basically started by threading my thread through, and then you go back through and go through the loop to tie it off. And then I just sort of did some little triangles at the end for the ends of the bones. I was not going to try to do actual bones on this teeny tiny little hat, so that's why I called it abstract. So see here, I'm just sort of doing a little triangle, and then I will go to the other end where the bone would end, and I will do another little triangle there, and then I will just stitch one thread across for the cross bone, and then I will repeat the process for the other bone. Then once I was done, I just threaded the thread back through the backside a couple of times and simply cut it off. Next, I took the piece that I had stitched the bones on the front and the piece that would be the back of the hat, and I glued them together on the edges. This is, now make sure you glue like sides together, because then we're going to flip it like you do a pillow. This is where the trial and error came in. I was using the Dollar Tree felt, and I love the Dollar Tree, don't get me wrong, but with the felt, their felt is thinner and it stretches. And with something this tiny, you needed to stretch it quite a bit to flip it around. And so that's why there are 2 different templates, is because the template with the thinner sides was just impossible to get to look even somewhat symmetrical with the Dollar Tree felt. So my advice to you is to grab some felt at like Joann's or something if you want to use the template that has the thinner ends. Otherwise, I did manage to make them look, I guess, okay with the Dollar Tree felt. And then for one, I used just some black material from the Dollar Tree just to see if it was going to be any easier. And it held its shape just a little bit better. But it's kind of a trial and error with these little guys because they are so little. Now, if you were doing this like for the size of a child or something, I don't think that you would have any problems whatsoever with the Dollar Tree felt. So anyways, that's just kind of what I learned via trial and error here. And then once you get it all glued together, then you will take and flip it inside out and push the sides out. And there you go. There's your little hat. Now, I suppose you could glue in the ends, thing at the bottom, glue in the ends, or add some trim or something, but I didn't because, like I said, these are just super little guys that are going to go on some little dinosaur mirrors. So here they are on the dinosaur mirrors hung up on his wall. What do you guys think? Do you like them? Also, they double nicely for toy hats. Here they are on a dinosaur and then on my daughter's Barbie. You got to let me know what you think in the comments. And here is a quick glance at each of the projects. A little aside, I received this octopus at my son's baby shower, and you just have to hear the way he says octopus. What's this called?
Octopus.
Okay, now we will take a look at it all put together. I am not so sure. I believe that the stick sailboat may end up on the other wall. If you look there, there is a blue wall, and that wall will have a couple of sailboat paintings that were his grandparents, and I am going to be doing some frames for them, as well as a sign to sort of finish tying this all in together. I just didn't have time to get it done for this video. So that video will be coming at some point in the next month or so. I have a lot of stuff coming up. So if you're not subscribed and you enjoy what you see, please hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications so you get notified when I upload a video. Give me a thumbs up and a comment. It helps my video reach others. I appreciate you taking the time to stop in today. Thanks so much. Be sure to let me know what you think. Don't forget to head over and check out the hosts as well as the wonderful playlist. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe.